Edge Designations, Introduction and Action Plan video for the CAIA Level 1 program for the 2024 exam cycle. Welcome on board to the CAIA program, and welcome to Edge Designations. We are a prep provider for the CFA, FRM, CAIA, and now the FTP programs. By way of introduction, my name is Russell Jude, and I head up the CAIA program on behalf of Edge Designations. Let's just make this a little bit bigger before we get going. I see it is a little bit small. There we go. Okay. And as we get going, the purpose of this particular video, our introduction and action plan video, is twofold. Number one is to introduce you to the CAIA program for CAIA Level 1, what you can expect from the CAIA Level 1 program, the exam, what that will look like, what the topics within CAIA Level 1 look like, the weightings, etc., etc. And the second purpose of the video is to introduce you to Edge Designations as a prep provider and to see what we can do for you in that respect. But first and foremost, let us start with CAIA and talk a little bit about the CAIA program itself, CAIA Level 1. First and foremost, as you can see over here, as we introduce the program, most people will tell you that you need approximately anywhere between 200 to 250 hours. That's just really a guide, because the truth be told is, depending on your particular background in alternative investments, in equity investments, in fixed income investments, will dictate that amount of time. So the greater level of experience you have within finance specific topics, obviously that amount of time will be reduced somewhat. Okay, so that's really just a guide, the amount of study time that you need for CAIA Level 1. In terms of the exam itself, we talk about a 4-hour exam. The exam itself of 400 hours, okay, it's broken down into two components. Okay, part number one, okay, is 100 multiple choice questions, okay, in the first 2 hours. And the truth be told, in terms of that, it's a nice easy equation. If you have a look over here, you've got 120 minutes, okay, and you need to do 100 multiple choice questions. The maths is easy. That's 72 seconds per multiple choice question, and most guys that have done CAIA Level 1 with us at Edge will tell you and attest to the fact that 72 seconds is quick. You don't have a lot of spare time. Okay, so you've really got to move through these multiple choice questions quite quickly. For the most part, each multiple choice question is quite standalone. So the benefit of that, of course, is if you don't know the answer to it, you move on, and you can the next MCQ, for the most part, is a new question, and hopefully you'll have more success with that one. So you write your first paper, 100 multiple choice questions. You've got 2 hours to do it in. It's super quick, and you finish up there. You've got a 30-minute break between exams, and you come back for what we call a bit of rinse and repeat, and you do exactly the same thing in the second paper. Another 100 multiple choice questions in 2 hours again, 72 seconds a question, and yes, that is fairly quick again. Okay, so that's really what your exam looks like. It's 200 multiple choice questions altogether, and a lot of guys ask, well, what comes in each of those papers? Well, we're going to take you to the topic weights in a second, and what topics you can expect in CAIA Level 1, and what you're going to find is all of the topics are questioned in both exams. Exam session 1, the first 2 hours, and then again when you come back for exam session 2, your second 100 multiple choice questions, we get examined everything again. Okay. There are 2 exam windows for CAIA Level 1, as for CAIA Level 2 as well, same story. The first exam window is the March window for 2024. Okay. And you can see it's a bit of a window. It's 4th of March till the 15th of March. And why is it a window? Because you can write your exam in any time within that particular window. Remember, of course, once you register with CAIA, you still need to book yourself an exam. And when you book your exam, that's when you book your exam date within that particular window. Any time between the 4th of March to the 15th of March. And just remember, okay, the earlier that you register with CAIA, the earlier that you register and you book your exam, the more likely you are to have the exam dates that you would prefer. There's also, we don't have the dates just yet, still early on in the cycle. There is a September exam window, September 2024. We don't yet have those exact dates within the window, but one can be rest assured that it'll be around about a 10 or 12 day exam window again, just like the March window. Okay, moving on just a little bit, we look at the topic weights. Okay, and there has been quite a big shift in syllabus from 2023 to 2024, particularly for CAIA Level 1, not so much for CAIA Level 2, but particularly for CAIA Level 1, as you can see from this little page we've got over here. Okay, and I'm going to do a separate video, okay, that goes into a lot more detail, which will detail the changes, okay, the more detailed changes between 23 and 24 for CAIA Level 1. Here I'm just going to give you a general overview. Okay, let's have a look at the topics. You've got professional standards and ethics, and for those that are familiar with that, that's almost carbon copy from the CFA, professional standards and ethics. So if you have done CFA before, this should be relatively gentle for you. And you notice, of course, there's no real change in exam weighting from 23 to 24. But what you do notice, and something I need to really highlight, is the very high weighting that both CAIA and CFA as well give towards ethics and ethical and professional behavior. 15 to 25% here at the CAIA level, which is a massive weighting. Second major topic is Introduction to Alternative Investments, carrying a 20 to 28% weighting. And again, it's a range that they give you, so we don't know exactly the weighting that will be in the exam, but it will range within these particular ranges. And Intro to Alternative Investments, I've still got a bit of a bugbear myself for this particular one, because it's a little bit misleading in two respects. First of all, it's called Introduction to Alternative Investments, and an introduction should not carry with it a 20 to 28% exam weighting. It's way too high. And also, when we talk about Introduction to Alternative Investments, this is no introduction at all. We go quite into detail to a lot of finance topics. There's a lot of quants over here. Hopefully those guys are familiar with quants. There's economics, there's fixed income, there's derivatives, there's equities. This intro to alternative investments is no intro at all. It's quite a detailed look into a lot of the finance and financial topics. And it forms quite a strong base, quite a strong foundation for the balance of the material that we do in CAIA Level 1. So I always recommend candidates spend quite a lot of time on Intro to Alternatives, this particular topic, to make sure we get it really well, so we can carry on with and get a great foundation, and we can then move ahead after that into the remaining topics. Now, when we talk, I'm going to just talk to 2023 for a second. 2023 then went straight into the four major alternative asset classes: real assets, private equity, hedge funds, and structured products. And in 2023, those were the four major asset classes that were dealt with. Real assets had an 11 to 17% weighting. Private equity, of all the asset classes, had the highest weighting of 12 to 20%, hedge funds 11 to 17, and structured products 10 to 14. But you can see quite clearly the structure from 2023. If you have a look again, we had professional and ethical standards. We had the intro to alternatives, which was a basic introductory topic. Then we had the four different alternative asset classes: real assets, private equity, hedge funds, and then structured products. When we now move to 2024, there's been a little bit of a shift and move around of topics within the CAIA Level 1 syllabus. Okay, real assets has remained the same, and for the same price, hedge funds has remained the same. What's changed a little bit, and then you can see over here, private equity has now really been split into two components, really quite similar to what it was in 2023, but we've split private equity into two components to make it more specific. We've got private equity and private debt. Okay, so the weightings are more or less the same as they were in 2023, but in 2023 we just labeled it under one big topic called private equity. In 2024, you notice we've broken it down into two components, private equity and private debt. But no stress, please. It's not a new topic by any means. Those guys that perhaps wrote in 2023 or studied in 2023 and didn't get a chance to write, have no fear. It's almost carbon copy of what it was in the past. But as you can just see, we've now broken it down and become a little bit more specific. Private equity and private debt have got their own specific topics. Okay, because what you may well be asking, hold on a second, in 2023 there were 6 topics, and in 2024 there are 8. Is there a lot more work in 2024? No. Okay, and we'll explain to you why. There is something brand new though in 2024, so I'm going to just change color over here so we can see it nice and clearly, and that is digital assets. Okay, and that's obviously very topical, okay, very CAIA related. Of course, I'm sure everybody's aware CAIA have also got their own very, very specific designation. It's a standalone designation called FDP, Financial Data Professional, that deals with these topics, digital assets, machine learning, AI, all that kind of good stuff in much greater detail to give you your own specific finance designation in machine learning, etc. Here we touch on it a little bit in CAIA level 1. It carries a small weighting of 4 to 8%. It's a lovely, lovely new introduction to the CAIA Level 1 syllabus, and that is new. Okay, so if you want to say what's really, really new in 2024, well, digital assets is new. We look over here in the last one, which is additional portfolio strategies, which was not there in 2023, a 4 to 8% weighting. That's not new. Okay, and if we have a look at why do I say that that's not new, and the question you might well be asking, hold on a second, where has structured products gone, because that doesn't seem to have any weighting in 2024. As you can see over here, it was there in 23, whoop, not there in 2024. Where has structured products gone? And what you'll notice in the next video that I do, okay, which is the more detailed changes that relate to 2024, what you'll notice over there is, by way of example, under this new topic called additional portfolio strategies, we've got a topic over there called equity linked structured products. So you can see some of structured products has now been put into additional portfolio strategies. Where has some other stuff gone? Well, in private debt, what you're going to notice in our 2024 syllabus, we've got a topic there called Intro to Structuring. Okay, so it used to be in structured products. Now it's moved to private debt called Intro to Structuring, as well as we've got in private debt another topic that used to be in structured products called credit risk and credit derivatives. So what you'll notice, guys, is that in truth, okay, the real difference is, and I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible, the real difference between 2023 and 2024 is digital assets. So you say, hold on a second, where is structured products? Because it was there in 23, it's not there in 24. It's moved around a little bit. And you find a little bit of it in what we call additional portfolio strategies. You find a little bit of it in private debt. It's all been shifted around and moved around a bit, but not a real big change. So the 4 major alternative asset classes from 2023, real assets, still there, same as it was. Private equity, still there, same as it was, but just broken down into equity and debt. Hedge funds for 23, same in 24, no real change over there. And structured products, albeit that you don't see it as its own topic in 2024, and you did see it as a separate topic in 23, no real changes over there, guys, and it's almost carbon copy again, but it's moved around into various different components of the 24 syllabus. Digital assets, which I've got over here for you in this nice blue color, that is brand new. But again, nothing to stress about. First of all, for 2 reasons. Number one is it's a lovely, lovely topic. And people you will find that they are quite familiar with what's in there already, because there's nothing, everybody at this particular stage has had some exposure of sorts towards the topics that we're going to find over here in digital assets, number one. And number two, it carries a very small weighting of 4 to 8%. It's a nice little introduction. Lovely to see CAIA putting that in the syllabus. Okay, but as mentioned, guys, I will be doing a completely separate video for all those that are interested on the much greater detail that one can find with specific to 23 to 24. I'll be going to specifics. Guys, in terms of textbooks and chapters, what do you need for CAIA Level 1? Do you need to buy anything? What is available? What you're going to find is that your very first topic that we have, and I'm just going to clean this up here because I have made a little bit of a mess, and let's see if we can't just clean that up there. There we go. Okay, it looks brand new to me. There we go. In terms of your topic weights, what you're going to find, okay, is professional and ethical standards over there. Okay, no real textbook required because it's the Standards of Practice Handbook from the CFA Institute, which of course is freely available. There we go. In terms of the other topics, there we go, from all the way from intro to alternatives all the way down. We call that the Wiley textbook. There is an electronic version of that, and obviously we use that for the remaining topics 1, 2 through till 8. Important to remember, we often get the question is, do you have to work with a Wiley textbook, or will the Edge Notes or whichever other prep provider that's used? Well, I can't talk for them, I can talk for ourselves. Would that be sufficient? And the answer is yes, it is. Of course it's sufficient. We're a prep provider and we've got to make sure you are ready for the exam. What about the Wiley textbook? And then I always tell people the Wiley textbook is a fantastic resource. It's a well-written book. It's a lovely textbook. And it's a very useful textbook to use in conjunction with. But are Edge Notes standalone sufficient, and our videos and material? Yes, they are. Okay, I'm not going to take you through the detailed chapters over here in terms of, for example, you can see over here when you look at Intro to Alternatives, which I mentioned is no intro at all. You can see there are 9 readings, 9 chapters going from 2.1 to 2.9. Again, just bears out the fact that this is not much of an introduction. There are 9 chapters for Intro to Alternatives. We find there are 5 for real assets, 2 for private equity, 3 for private debt, 4 for hedge funds, 1 longish one for digital assets, and then we've got 2 readings, 8.1 and 8.2. When we say readings, we refer to things like chapters. So reading 8.1 and 8.2 will be chapter 8.1 and chapter 8.2 for additional portfolio strategies. That's a brief look at the textbooks and chapters. So again, if one wanted to work directly from source material, you would need to get hold of 2 things. Number 1, the Standards of Practice Handbook from the CFA for professional standards and ethics, and then the Wiley textbook, which is available electronically when you register with CAIA for the remaining readings. Let's go over our page over here, okay, and just to show you some of the information that is available to you from CAIA. You've got the Standards of Practice Handbook, we've spoken about that. There's a textbook, the Wiley textbook, and then CAIA make available to you various other resources as well, the handbook, the workbook, lovely resources directly made available to you directly from CAIA. One I didn't mention over here, which we'll mention as we get a bit closer towards exam time, which we mention in our revision and exam video, is that CAIA make available to you a practice exam as well, which is an absolutely fantastic resource because it gives you a bit of a sense. There's always a bit of a dispute among candidates that write to the exam and they say, the exam was, the practice CAIA paper was nothing like the final exam. Some candidates say it was quite closely approximated the exam. We got different views with respect to that, but it's a good resource to make use of at the time. Okay, a little bit of other information I just want to throw in over here. When we talk about the EDGE program, we talk about our approach to work, okay? And we like, at EDGE, we like to talk about what we call the quadruple C, the 4 C's, okay? The first C, I'm not going to go too much into detail over here, but our first C is consistency, okay? Oops, I missed something over there. I made a complete hash there. Let me just redo that for you. And nothing worse than writing consistency wrong, is it? Okay. There we go. So our first is consistency, okay, which we'd like to talk about everyday work. In other words, we work every single day consistently. It doesn't have to be the same amount of hours every single day, but you've got to be present working every single day. Okay, that's our first consistency that we like to work with. The second one we talk about is commitment. And I don't like to talk too much about commitment because my sense is that if you are at this point in your careers and you are registered for CAIA, well, then you're committed to the program and you are involved. We talk about the C. It's not really a C, is it? We talk about concentration. It's not really a C, but I like to keep it. I keep it in because it is a C that we can make use of. But it's really what we call focus, not so much concentration. Focus, or sometimes I know Steve Jobs, I think, used to call it deep learning. When you're actually doing your learning, you're deeply focused, you are concentrated, you're focused on the work. I get a lot of candidates that tell me, you know, I worked for 4 hours last night, and I say to them, well, what did you do? I think and I don't really get a detailed answer. So I would tell candidates, I would far rather that you worked brilliantly, deeply focused, concentrated for an hour than you sat on your behind for 4 hours and can't really remember exactly what you did. And the fourth C is as important as all of the other ones, is keep calm. It's just CAIA. Okay, I'm not meaning to disrespect CAIA by that, of course, but it's just CAIA. It's not your whole life. Keep calm, keep relaxed. You'll find that the process, and actually enjoy the process as you go. Okay, I think you'll find it a fantastic and enjoyable process. The CAIA syllabus, the way they've set it out, is absolutely fantastic, and it's enjoyable. And that's obviously one of the things. Enjoy the ride, not just the final result of when you get your CAIA designation, but enjoy the journey as we go through that, and keep calm. Okay, enjoy it. We've got calculator policy, guys. Texas Instruments BA2 Plus, or you can use the Professional as well as your calculator. Just very important, when we talk about the calculator, often people say to me, can't you use the HP12C? I'm going to write that for you here. HP12C. That's that like oblong type calculator. Yes, you can use that one as well, but none of the prep providers teach on that. So if you are looking for a calculator that everybody is, it's more universal, try get the Texas Instruments BA2 Plus if you haven't yet purchased one. Okay. Now we talk about, now that we are here, let's talk about calculations. CAIA tells us that the maximum amount of marks that will be allocated towards calculations in the exam is 30%. In other words, placing a very high weighting of the remaining 70% on theory, qualitative kind of information and things like that, but only 30% will be on calculations. Okay, so we've spoken about the calculator and the amount of work that you need to be able to do on the calculator. Maximum for your exam, 30%. In terms of equations in this exam, equations all need to be learned. There's a very, very few, maybe 1 or 2 equations that you will be given in the exam, but other than that, every other single equation needs to be learned. Not to stress, of course, at Edge we will give you a formula sheet. You still have to learn it, but at least you get a formula sheet. Okay, CAIA will give you a workbook and an online exam before the exam as you register. That'll assist you with your preparations. Multiple choice questions, 3 or 4 possible answers. In other words, there can be A, B, and C, and sometimes there's A, B, C, and a D as well. There are times CAIA uses item sets, not that often. Okay, when you talk about item sets, in other words, they give you a little bit of a story or a vignette, and then they base a few multiple choice questions based on that particular story that they give. They don't do it that often. How much do you need to pass CAIA level 1? Guaranteed 70%. So in other words, if you get 70% on your exam, and again, that's between the 2 papers. Okay, so you don't have to get 70% for both. You can get 100% for the one, okay, and then 40% for the other, which will average out at 70 as good. However, the pass mark may be lower. It doesn't have to be 70%. It'll depend on what how the candidates in general do. Generally speaking, 5 weeks after you finish your exam, or after the exam, not when you finish your exam, but when the exam window closes, that is when you can expect your final results for CAIA Level 1, and then move on to CAIA Level 2. Okay, hopefully by now I've given you a bit of an introduction, a little bit of a look in as to what one can expect from CAIA Level 1 in terms of CAIA itself, the topics, the program, the study time, what your exam will look like, etc., all from a CAIA point of view. I just want to spend the last couple minutes of this particular video just looking at the EDGE program. Okay, what can EDGE do for you? What kind of programs have we got available? Our option number 1 is what we call Zoom Plus Online. And I'm not going to start with that one. I'm going to start with option 2, which is the online program. Online program is a complete set of notes covering every single learning outcome statement. We only work with learning outcome statements, so you can be rest assured that every single learning outcome statement that you can find in your CAIA workbook, we will cover that in detail. Okay, so you get a complete set of notes in PDF format. Okay, you get a complete set of videos on the syllabus. We talk you through the entire set of notes via videos. You get a Q bank and a formula sheet there as well, and that's an online program. Okay, when you talk about the online program, you get access to it and away you go. Now we can move back to option number 1, which is Zoom Plus Online. So online, I've spoken about already, carbon copy over there. What do you get more in option number 1, which is a Zoom program that you don't get in the online program? We get live Zoom classes. Okay, so a lot of people do prefer live classes, and in the live classes, okay, you may say, well, hold on a second, don't you already give us a complete set of videos in the online program? Yes, we do. The Zoom classes, it's a classroom experience. I don't go through the entire syllabus with you in the Zoom classes, but I do highlight important parts of the notes. We do take questions from students in that particular session. It's a classroom setting that we all get together. It's normally on a Sunday afternoon, depending on your geography. North Americans, Canadians, etc. It'll be Sunday morning for you. Europeans, South Africans, Germans, UK, that's normally after Sunday afternoon. And if you move towards Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, that gets a little bit into Sunday evening. So that's when we hold the Zoom classes. We do it on a Sunday to try and accommodate most people. As we get closer towards exam time, we move to option number 3, which is the revision program, where you get a complete revision of the entire CAIA Level 1 syllabus in note format, video format, and we give you 3 full practice exams with solutions. That is option number 3, which generally people take up closer towards exam time, but you can take that up front as well. The remaining options, option 4 through to option 6, okay, are really a little bit of an a la carte type menu, but are included in the original options. For example, question bank, option number 4, you will find that over there. So if you buy the full option 1 or 2, you get the Q bank in there. The full set of notes is included in there as well, and the exams are included in option 3 as well. So option 4 through to option 6 is a little bit more. If you want something a little bit only, you for whatever reason you just want a specific thing, you would go there more for option 4, 5, or 6. Option 1, 2, and 3 are more complete packages, and I often get asked by students if they want the best of what EDGE has to offer. I say you buy option 1, which is Zoom Plus Online, and you purchase option 3 as well. That's the revision program. Some people don't like Zoom classes or live classes, then go for option number 2 and number 3. If you wanted the full program. Just to leave you with some of our details, if you wanted to make contact with me directly, got any queries or questions, here's my email address. It's russelldre@ebs.co.za, and then our web address is www.edge, nice and easy, edgedesignations.com, all one word. If you wish to make contact, with absolute pleasure, we are available for a chat. At this point in time, hopefully we have addressed the 2 major points that we wanted to do in this particular video, giving you a good look at the CAIA syllabus as well as what EDGE has to offer for you. That's point number 2. And we're going to wish everybody at this point most amount of success within the CAIA Level 1 program. Enjoy the program, okay, as you go through it. It's a wonderful, wonderful syllabus. CAIA put together something really fantastic for you guys. Enjoy it. Best of luck, and if Edge can help you with anything, please make contact. And best of luck with the exams and the study program. Cheers, everybody.